gentlemen of the internet world, Beau here again. It's about 85 degrees, very summery, typical for Maine, a little on the humid side, but not bad. Expecting thunderstorms this afternoon, which is part of the reason why I'm going out for my walk now instead of later. Try to get in front of those. Did not walk yesterday. Because I aggravated my heel the day before. But I'll be all right. Today I did bring some liquids with me. Some pineapple coconut, sparkling water. It's got some natural flavors and it's artificially sweetened, which is okay with me. So I got a couple of these with me. And we're going to head on out. So it is a little warm today, which is why I brought liquids. Was watching a, well, not watching, but reading a article I forget where it happened, but basically this woman had a 3-year-old baby in her cart in the parking lot. She had just got done doing some shopping, and she was putting stuff in her car. And while she was doing that, an angry black woman attacked her with a knife, a butcher knife, as it was described. The police officer said it was a kitchen knife, butcher knife type thing. That could have been anything. Might have been a Michael Myers type knife, or it could have been a meat cleaver, a butcher knife. Anyway, she didn't attack the mother. She attacked the baby, stabbing the baby twice, once in the face, once in the back. So that tells me that she attacked the baby first, and then the mother pulled away to protect the baby, and the baby got stabbed in the back. And then the black woman walked off through the parking lot with a knife, where she was arrested. So it was a white mother with a white baby attacked by a black woman. We already know that was a hate crime. The black woman picked her out while she was coming out of the store and followed her to her car. No reason for the attack. Some more of this imaginary conspiracy racial hate that has been spewed by the media and Democrats, because the Marxists cannot take over without us destroying ourselves internally, and they needed a race war to do that. And I would say they have succeeded in doing that. I also watched a video today of a black woman in a car, angry that she got pulled over and got a ticket. The cop was being racist because white people speed all day long and they never get tickets. She was singled out because she was black. So she made a video saying that she hated white people. Can you imagine white people making videos like that? That's racist. So, the conclusion I've come up with, and I'm not speaking for all black people, obviously. Just like when I complain about Pride Month, I don't complain about all LGBT. Most are pretty cool. But you got these young Marxists, and it all comes back around to neo-Marxism. Whether it's the Black Lives Matter movement, climate change cult, it's all under the same umbrella. Well-financed .orgs by socialists and Marxists, mega donors who want America destroyed, the West destroyed, really. And they're doing a fine job of it in Canada. Canada is slipping a little further into the sea every 6 months. Some conservatives and populists are getting more popular in the process. So they're gaming the system against them like they are against Donald Trump or anybody else like that. Or that Milei's guy in Argentina who managed to win. It's going to be the last time you see that there. So he'd better do a good job, because when he gets out, they're going to imprison him too. If they're not already working on it. This is the real deal going on right now that we've only read about in books in the 50s and 60s about communism and the dangers of it. And ironically, the people that wrote those books are the ones doing it. Which really, I can't wrap my head around that. And I've mentioned that before. You know, we have things like a basic movie George Lucas made, okay? THX 1138. Premise of that movie is that AI takes over humanity and everything's controlled by essential computers, including birthing, and people are just there to run the machines. Brilliant story. A dystopian future where nobody's free. They're kept drugged by the state so they don't think for themselves and complain. And you know, somebody like George Lucas wrote that. So he knows that societies are capable of that. And he's on the side of a society that is currently doing that. And I just can't wrap my head around that. How can you know and then not know? So I hope that makes sense. And make no mistake, that is what's going on. So we learned this week that there were about 63 or 64 border executive orders that Biden signed to undo what Trump did, with the only purpose was to open the border, because Biden is controlled by Marxists on his own staff. People like Jen Psaki and all these people, and Pierre, what's her name, the press secretary, and these people that are on Biden's staff in the White House are Marxist, openly. They don't even try to hide it. And so Biden opened up the border. He didn't know, I really don't think he knew what he was doing. They told him to sign this or say this, and that's what he did. I think he's gone, literally. So he's like the perfect puppet. So anyway, you influx the country with all these different cultures and you destroy our culture from within. That was the plan in Europe. So it's not a coincidence that you saw that in Europe, you saw that in Canada, and you're seeing that in the United States. Now the United States, it's more difficult for them to do that. They needed to have the media on their side, almost 100%, which they have. And it's still not working for them because the people know what's going on. And in an election year, it is something that is really crippling the Biden administration. So they were forced to have a press conference where Biden signed an executive order putting a time limit that the border would be open each day. Once that limit is reached, they shut it off. No more people get processed. Is that going to reduce the amount of people coming in the country? Yes, but not by a lot. And it's not going to stop any of them. It's just going to delay them. And all this does is it gives the cartels who are muling them over here, charging them money, are going to bump people up ahead of that line with that certain number every day, with the people that have the most money to pay the cartels to get ahead in line. So this is further going to oppress these people. And I don't blame the people for coming here. I mean, who wouldn't want to come here? But there are forces behind it and reasons why they're doing it. And it needs to stop, and we need to have mass deportations. And I hate to say it, but that's it. Now that's going to get challenged with lawsuits. Who knows where that's going to get. Thankfully, we have a real Supreme Court for the most part. As you can tell, because the Democrats are trying to defame them and get them to resign from certain cases. Like they're trying to get Justice Alito to take himself off the Trump immunity case because of a conflict of interest, because his wife flew a pro-January 6th patriotic flag, which turns out used to be a flag that George Washington flew during the War for Our Independence. It's a patriotic flag. It's not a J6 flag. And that they hung a flag upside down because the country was in distress. Well, what did we see all through 2020? Democrats and Black Lives Matter protesters flying the flag upside down because of Donald Trump. Our country was in distress. So none of this stuff these guys do hold any weight anymore because it crumbles under its own hypocrisy, as they're finding out. It's not working. And speaking of that, Pride attendance is down nationwide. Nationwide. Hello. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
So that is a mother out there. Sign says that she's lost her job and she needs to pay her rent. And the reason why I don't pay attention to that is because Maine is one of the most welfare-friendly states in the country. Spending millions and millions of dollars on these immigrants that just came in. She's one of them with 2 kids. There's jobs to be had, so I don't know why she's out there with a sign saying she lost her job. I saw her out there 3 months ago. She's been out here every other day panhandling for money. So So I already know that's a bunch of BS. If she couldn't pay her rent, she wouldn't be standing there with a sign. She would be at the DHS office getting Section 8 housing because she has kids. She would not have a problem paying her rent, okay? So that's just the way that is. Anyway, back to my little story. We need to show due diligence. And the other thing I thought was funny is I've been following polling on Donald Trump. It's funny because there was an Ipsos poll that the liberals are holding up as some kind of victory. Saying that 10 to 15% of independents have changed their mind about Trump, or they're not sure about voting for Trump now. That number hasn't changed. That's the same number it was before the trial verdict. It hasn't changed. And it also doesn't mean a bad thing, because it means Trump is between 55 and 60% of the independent vote, which is where he was before. What they're not showing you is what Biden's numbers are with independents. They're terrible. So they're playing the propaganda game, but pretty much all polls right now show that nothing's really changed. So people already know who they're going to vote for. And I was looking at TikTok, the official Biden-Harris headquarters TikTok. They posted a video, some black woman on there, talking about how when Donald Trump worked on that show, The Apprentice, there's an audio recording of him using the N-word. Now, people have been talking about that for years. Supposedly, there was a non-disclosure agreement. The guy couldn't talk about it. But now that's expired. And he says it exists. It's this, it's that. But we don't have a recording. We have people that said they heard it. Omarosa, remember her? Used to be in the White House, that black woman. She made a little bit of money writing an anti-Trump book. And she did an interview on Meet the Press with what's-his-face that isn't there anymore. And she was talking about how there was that tape, and then he goes, "You heard it?" She goes, "Yes, I heard the tape. He played it for me." Which is BS, because that means the guy would have violated the NDA for her. So she lied about that. And, you know, if something like that came out or was real, we would have heard about it already. They've used everything against Trump. That would be the news cycle right now. Convicted felon who uses the N-word. I mean, come on, right? Of course that would be out. So they do these things, and you have to remember a couple of things in all the fog of this that's going on. And, you know, these are facts, okay? The Hollywood Access tape came out where Trump was talking about grabbing the girls by the pee, you know, the pee thingy, and he still won. They thought that was it. It'd be over. He'd have to drop out. And that was the other independent poll I saw, where they were asking independents and Republicans if Donald Trump should drop out of the candidacy before the RNC officially names Trump as the candidate at the end of June. Actually mid-June, June 15th. So it's obvious they planned having the sentencing for Trump on June 11th, 3 or 4 days before that, to influence voters and to influence the RNC to pull Donald Trump as a candidate, because he won't be able to win being a convicted felon sentenced to jail. I firmly believe, okay, they are going to sentence Donald Trump to house arrest and interfere in our elections. You can plan on it. I don't know how Trump can run from Mar-a-Lago. He might have his electronic broadcasting things prohibited. The judge can do whatever he wants to. That's why you know something's going to happen. So they're going to try to do that and impose something that's impossible for Trump to run, hoping that the RNC pulls Donald Trump. Now, you and I know that's not going to happen. So Trump is asking for the Supreme Court to intervene, because it is an election and it has to do with people's votes and the votes of the people. And I think they should as well. Typically, with what he was charged with, has never been done before. And even if it has, they were misdemeanors. And there was no jail term for anybody, nothing. Now what they should do is give him a fine, sentence him to 2 to 3 years, and then suspend the jail sentence. That's what they should do. But right now, they have a noose around his neck, and they're going to use it. You know they're going to use it. So, you know, all these legal experts are like, well, typically this, well, typically most people are not Donald Trump, okay? So we have laws specific to apply to us, and Donald Trump has his own laws that apply to him, dictated by Democrats. So what they're doing now was unthinkable, and they've done it. So one thing they haven't done, though, is they haven't thought about the public's reaction. When you spend all this time, we got to get Trump, 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 and then what happens when they finally catch him? What happens when you finally get the tiger by the tail? Well, we're going to see what happens. So far, it looks like people have seen right through it, and it's really done nothing. Hello. So it's going to be really interesting to watch what the public does. And what you should watch is the independents. Because the other poll I saw that they tried to make some kind of reality was Republican voters, 19% of them aren't supporting Trump. They say they don't want to vote for him. Well, that's another poll with the same, you had the same numbers before the trial. It's not changed. Now, when somebody's looking at a ballot, there's RFK Jr. in some states, Biden and Trump. I mean, what are you going to do, right? I mean, what are you going to do with that? Literally. Is somebody that hates Donald Trump but hates Biden also, are they going to vote for Biden? Are they going to vote for RFK Jr.? Either way, that's going to help Trump because there are going to be Democrat voters, young people, who are not going to vote for Biden. That's why Biden is desperately trying to work out a deal with Hamas and Israel so he can take a victory lap on bringing peace. try to appease their voters, because he attached on the end of it, and rebuild Gaza, he said. So that's going to be another taxpayer money pit for the United States, because Biden needs votes. So we'll see what happens. Very interesting things going on right now. So I guess Biden's taken off to France for the Normandy World War II celebration. We saw Trump do that when he was president. Then after Biden goes there, he's going to fly all the way back to the United States for some reason. And then he's going to fly back to deal with the Middle East. So people are wondering, why didn't he just stay there? Why is he coming back? I have no idea. Must be something important. So we'll see what happens. Anyways, it's going to be an interesting election year, regardless, obviously. So it is very warm today. The skies do look volatile. We're going to have about 4, maybe 5 days of rainy weather starting tomorrow night, or actually later tonight. I believe so. So I'm going to pick and choose my walk times. May do a walk or two in the rain. It's going to be warm. It's going to be mild. It's going to be in the mid-70s while it's raining, so it's going to be tropical. So I'll play it by ear. But I want to do my 6-mile route today, just in case I get rained out. So Trump is going to be holding a rally in Nevada, which pretty much Nevada is Republican except for Maricopa County. That is where all the population in Nevada lives. And it's amazing how the Democrats dominate all the heavily populated areas in the country. All the big cities. And you can see why they want to get rid of the Electoral College, because they'll win easily every year. And I'm sure between now and when, or if ever, that were to go in effect, that it's not going to go over well with states that didn't go along with it. They're going to change their own election laws, so there's going to be more legal fighting in there. And then you're going to have to deal with things like Colorado passed that. Now what happens if Colorado goes red? And the legislature there just, well, we're going to remove it, get rid of it. Because this is not in the Constitution, and as I've stated before, the Supreme Court of the United States in 2020 already ruled on it. They ruled that it was constitutional for states to come up with their own election laws, because the Constitution says that each state is responsible for their election laws. And they're not getting rid of the Electoral College vote. That's the key factor to that. They're thumbing the scale with it, saying that their Electoral College vote will be cast according to the popular vote winner. See, that's the catch. So they're not violating constitutional rights. They're skirting them with loopholes, which seems to be a very popular thing that Democrats have been doing in the past 10 to 20 years, and it's been working for them. So the only way to circumvent that is to elect people to office to get rid of that. So hopefully people will see what the problem is and fix it. I'm hoping. I can guarantee you, as soon as Maine is led by Republicans again, which they will at some point, something is going to change on that. It barely passed. It barely passed in a heavily biased House, let's put it that way. And then that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. Not all of the Democrats were on board with that, because they're Democrats from red areas. Maine has a lot of red. So just gonna have to wait it out and see what happens, folks. But make no mistake, one thing is certain, it is not a conspiracy. This country is being taken over by Marxists. So people that hate the Constitution, they hate America, they hate us being free, and they keep talking about democracy, but their version of democracy is not really democracy. It's our rules, or you're a criminal. Kind of like what I was saying about New Zealand during the pandemic. The government on TV was telling people they were free, you had liberty, but almost in the same breath they were saying, but you can only go on the roads that we have approved for you to go on. But you're free to do so. That's not freedom or liberty. You're free to not get vaccinated, but, you know, the business has the freedom to fire you for it. Plus, we've said that you can't do that, so the business is going to uphold the law, and you're not above the law. Seems to be one of their favorite sayings. So nobody's above the law unless you're not with us. Then the law doesn't apply to you. It's like it doesn't apply to Donald Trump. And when Trump says something like, they're doing this to me to get through me to get to you. He's all that's in the way to stop them from doing this to us on different levels. So the way it's going right now, if you say something on the internet, you end up in a database and you have the ATF showing up at your door because they don't like what you said online about something. Like you support pistol braces. Oh, They knock on your door. Do you have pistol braces? Why would you say that? Do you have anything you haven't told us about? And that's what they're doing. So, and there's evidence of that. The freaking guy that ran that airport in Arkansas, no previous criminal record at all. They don't even know if he was guilty. He didn't have a trial yet. He had no due process. They just bashed his door in early in the morning with no body cameras, like they were assassinating him. That's not conspiracy or my imagination. That is fact. That's what happened. Can't tell me I didn't see what I didn't see. So anyway, going back to the Biden-Harris TikTok page. Sorry I strayed off that. I have a tendency to do that. They posted a video talking about Trump using the N-word, and I already discussed all that. But what was funny was all the replies. They were all from young people that use TikTok. What does that have to do with me not being able to afford gas? I can't afford to eat. I can't pay my rent. I don't have spare change anymore to do my laundry at the laundromat. That's what all the comments were. There was one, maybe two, that was for them, and the rest was all people saying stuff like, "We broke." I had this black person on there saying, "We broke, bitch." That's what he said. So they shouldn't, in other words, we don't care about that. That's not what we care about right now. So, you know, you have to factor all that stuff in when people are going to go vote. Biden's not going to get any younger. They're not predicting inflation to repair itself miraculously between now and the election, where people are going to notice any difference. And rents are not going to go down. Wages aren't going up. So basically what you have right now is what people are going to be voting for. This trial, anything they do to Trump helps Trump, because it's not going to make Biden younger. I mean, he announced that executive order on the border, and if you watch it, so many people were asking questions, he couldn't keep track with anything, so he didn't answer anybody. He turned around and was walking off, and then he stopped and said, "What was that?" He looked completely like he's just gone. He's gone. He's not here anymore. And I also believe they're going to find a way out of the debate with Donald Trump that they agreed to, because he wants to sit down during that, because Biden can't stand for an hour and a half anymore. And so either way, you know, Pelosi was saying that, you know, when, you know, Biden shouldn't debate Trump, Pelosi was saying, because Trump is a convicted felon. He's a bully. Biden is above him. You know, Donald Trump is beneath us. She just said that this week. So they're going to find a way to cancel that debate and say that Biden doesn't debate with convicted felons. Mark my words. Remember, I said it. Because they know Biden's not going to win a debate with Trump. Because they're going to have to talk about everything that Biden has screwed up. And the White House would just soon run their propaganda with the media and hope for the best. So no, you are not going to see a debate with Trump and Biden. I don't believe it. I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. That was the new trend in the last election cycle, if you were following. Katie Hobbs in Arizona said she wasn't going to debate Kari Lake because she is a January 6th supporter. That's what she said. I don't debate with domestic terrorists, she said. So this is something they've done already. And Katie Hobbs won anyway because they cheated. So I don't know what you think of all that. I don't know if I make any sense at all. And as always, I'm not a damn expert. I don't know everything. And I certainly don't get everything right. I'm just giving my opinion from what I've seen. And I could very well be wrong. There were other smaller, not very reported debates that were canceled for similar reasons. I'm not debating a mega terrorist. So he might just say, you know, he's a mega Republican, supports domestic terrorism. He's a convicted felon, and he's a bully, and he's beneath me and America, and I'm not going to debate with him. Very well might be what they issue. And that would be the first time that ever happens, along with the other first time as anything has happened. And they're going to just say, well, it's because it's Donald Trump. If there was another candidate, it wouldn't be a problem. None of this would be a problem in the country right now if it wasn't for Trump. That's the picture they're trying to paint. They're trying to make America so sick of hearing the name Donald Trump that they don't vote for him, so he goes away. It didn't work the last time. Trump won the last election, okay? He just did. They used mass ballot harvesting and mass absentee ballots, which weren't really absentee ballots. They were just mail-out emergency pandemic ballots in battleground states. And they're going to try to cheat again. It's going to be more difficult for them this time. Biden's numbers are worse than Hillary's were. And that's the other thing people seem to forget. In that last election, Trump had more votes than any incumbent in history. And this friggin' useless son of a bitch Biden got more votes than anybody in the history of our country. Are you kidding me? So we all know what's coming. We'll just have to deal with it when it happens. Just don't panic when you hear things that sound like bad news. Everything is going to be against Donald Trump from now to the election in the media. Everything. 90%, 95% of the stuff they did in the past all turned out to be bunk, garbage, propaganda, exaggerated. Anonymous sources say. An anonymous source from the Trump campaign told the New York Post that Donald Trump has whatever, you know. They're going to make up whatever they want to. So anyway, a columnist for a famous national newspaper passed away unexpectedly this past weekend. He died suddenly. 52 years old. Another one that died suddenly after being all over the place and writing about it and promoting vaccines for COVID and stopping the spread, and then coming out with posts that said, well, it doesn't stop the spread, but if you get it, it'll prevent you from dying. So he was vaccinated and he's dead. So died suddenly after a brief illness, his partner said. She said that you know, they're partners now because they don't get married anymore. They don't believe in that. It's an old-fashioned You know, they're Marxist, okay? They don't believe in any of this stuff. They're all atheists. They don't believe in marriage. They don't believe in any of that garbage, according to them. So, anyway, he did. Of course, there's no proof it was vaccines, so I'm not saying it was. I don't want my video censored. I'm just saying that it's amazing how many people are dropping dead at an early age, around 50 to 55, after being vaccinated. And it's a heart attack, usually. And I just saw an article in the European Journal. Forgot the name of it. It's a medical journal, but heart attacks in women over 50 are skyrocketing. And they're trying to figure out why. Come on. What has changed between 2020 and now, okay? This isn't hard. So again, I don't want to alarm anybody listening to this that's been vaccinated. That's not why I'm saying it. This obviously does not affect everybody. But stay in tune with your doctor and get checked up. Get the imaging done to look for blockage in arteries and things like that. If you can do that, it'll show up on there. It'll show up. You don't just mysteriously automatically get a blood clot. I mean, the reason why you get the clotting is inflammation that's going on in your body, and those kind of electronic imagings will show that. They'll show if you have any past scarring since you got vaccinated, where you were getting inflammation and you didn't have any symptoms or problems. So get checked out. A lot of these doctors don't know what to look for. They really don't, because the information is being hidden from them too, because they don't want them to know about it either. Even though they have seen an increase in this, that, or the other thing. If you're in a practice and you treat people over 50 all the time, well, you're going to have people coming in there with stroke problems and heart attacks anyway, having nothing to do with the vaccine. So they're not piecing that together as something that's tied together. So, because if one of them tries to do that, he'll have his license pulled. We've seen that happen during the pandemic with alternative treatments that have now been vindicated, because the CDC has said that it was okay, and the FDA said it was okay, that those protocols did work. So, as you can see, it is a nice day today. That is probably the hugest rhododendron bush I have ever seen in my life. That is almost something all alive. on its own at this point. Look at the size of that. Wow, that's awesome. Well, the little automated lawnmower ran out today, but the grass looks like it's trimmed pretty well. Looks like it does a good job. I think it uses GPS, so it doesn't track over the same spot all the time. I did look that up online, and you could actually follow that on an app on your phone. You can control your lawnmower from your phone and tell it how to mow and where to mow and all that stuff. So I went hedge trimming happy at the homestead. Trimmed a whole bunch of bushes and branches, and things are growing out of hand this year because of all the sunshine we've had. Now we're going to get 4 days of rain. I'm not going to cry about it because we have had absolutely beautiful weather. Exceptionally good weather. So right now I'm trying to get back to the homestead before the thunderstorms come. I heard a couple of rumbles in the distance. I should be all right. I'm past the halfway point. I don't want to get struck by lightning. Yep, so lately in the evenings I've been watching 1980s horror movies. Found one last night I had never seen, and you know, because I just brought it up, I won't think of the title. But anyway, it was predicated on the 80s formula of slasher films. It was these group of young people get together to rehash their memories at a summer camp that they all went to. And of course, while they were there, somebody was going around killing them one by one. The film had not been restored, so it was still a little grainy. Wasn't a big budget film, but it was entertaining and I watched it. Wish I could remember the name of it, sorry about that. But it was the first time I had ever seen it and I'd never heard of it. And it didn't have a catchy title, so. But anyway, I've been frequenting a lot of free movie websites. Not sure how legal they are, but You're not downloading anything, so you're not doing anything illegal watching them. A lot of them ask for your credit card information and stuff like that to register. Don't ever do that. But they have all these movies, and they have these, like a network of computers in Europe that has all of this stuff on there, and it's like file sharing. So you go to the website and you just click to watch a movie and it streams, and they pretty much grab whatever that's been streamed online. So almost everything on Netflix, Amazon Prime, all those movies are on there. And they're all HD quality for the most part. Rips made from DVDs. So anyways, and it turns out in that one I watched that the person I suspected as being the killer was the one that did it. You had the police detective investigating the murders, you had the local sheriff, and it was the housemaid, the woman, the one that cooked and did the laundry and took care of the kids while they were there. She worked for the camp. She was the one doing it, and she was the older woman, and I knew it was going to be her. Then I watched another one where it was just this disfigured mutant doing the killing, which is pretty much another formula from the 80s slasher films. Friday the 13th came out and made all that money. They had a lot of copycats. Some were low budget, big budget, medium budget. Well, the one I watched was a medium budget. Had a lot of overacting in it, which was interesting. But even when you get a bad movie, there's no such thing as a bad movie, because they're entertaining to watch anyway, for different reasons, because they're so bad, or they're so cheap, or you can see how they did the effects, or so we've got 3.5 miles in. The skies are getting increasingly volatile looking, as you can see. That's a cool shot. Big puffy clouds. Now in the distance down there, it looks kind of like there's something coming. So I got to get home before that gets here, or I'm going to be hiding somewhere. Where do you hide when you're out for a walk? You're out in the open on the street, so I'd be susceptible for lightning. Can't hide under a tree. Most people will take offense if I hide under their porch. Get off my porch! But it's raining out. I don't care. I don't want to get struck by lightning and die. I don't care about that either. Get off my porch. these little bugs following me because the sun's not out full strength. If the sun was out full strength right now, I'd be cooking. It's in the mid 80s today. Here's a speedometer sign here for traffic. And the other day, I walked by it the other night. I didn't upload that walk, but it said I was doing 6 miles an hour. Oh, that's actually the roadwork sign. There's one down here that's an electronic speedometer type thing. I'll turn around and look at it when we go by. Like you've never seen those before, right? So these guys are out here marking the roads. So they're obviously going to be digging that up. Some of that infrastructure bill money from Congress, probably. Susan Collins got a few $1,000,000 for this area. I'm going to check my app, and check the weather app. Come on, weather app. Load. See? There's the speedometer thing. It said I was doing 6 miles an hour the other night, which is actually not accurate, because if you do the math from my walks, it averages out to about 4 miles per hour. So, still waiting for my Alright, according to my app, the bulk of this is going by the south of me. And there's not really much showing up here. The ones that were north of us coming kind of dried up a little bit. So, I'm gonna march on my way back. Skies do look ominous. But we'll get where we're going before the storms come. Which is alright. I think I timed it okay. I think I timed it well. Flags here. So we're going to hang a left up here and head back to the ranch. There's that car right there that hasn't been stickered for 2 years. Yep. You still got a green sticker on there from 2 years ago. And they've created a system where people have to go do that every year. And if you can't get your sticker, the fine for not having a stickered vehicle is like $170. So if your car needs $1,000 worth of repairs to get a sticker, and then next year you're going to need a sticker again for something else, it's going to be $1,000, and you're not making enough money to take care of that, financially it just makes sense to take your ticket, because they don't enforce it. They will enforce it if you get pulled over for something else. License and registration, they'll take a quick look at your inspection sticker. They'll either give you a warning or a ticket. Presumably, if you don't have any traffic violations in the past or nothing that severe, they'll probably just give you a warning anyway, or a ticket for whatever they pulled you over for. So in other words, if you don't drive like a fool to get pulled over, then you should be okay. Really. I just got my car stickered, so I'm good for another year. But I've noticed from going on my walks and also in the Walmart parking lot how many vehicles have expired stickers. And I don't mean just recent, I mean months, and in some cases years. So they ought to just get rid of that, or make it every 5 years and not be so strict with what gets checked or not get checked. Like in my opinion, windshield wipers and washer fluid systems, I mean, who cares? I mean, really, you know? Seriously. If your windshield is frosty in the morning, oop, that was a thunder I heard in the distance. So if your windshield is frosty in the morning, you let your car run till it warms up, and you put the heater on the windshield, and if you don't have any fluid system that pumps water on your windshield to de-ice it, I mean, what's the big deal? Now your brakes, that's different. You lose your brakes, well, you don't have brakes, you're in trouble. And the way hydraulics works, that if you get a hole in your brake system anywhere, the entire system fails. But even today, and this is why I say this, even today, modern vehicles, they don't have a hydraulic system for all four corners of your car. Like, in other words, if you brake hose brakes on the front, you don't lose all your brakes. Now it's split usually. So now that sky right there looks pretty ominous. I've noticed the leaves are starting to turn upside down. Usually indicative of bad weather coming. But my radar says that it's not. So we'll see. I don't have any place to hide if it does. Should be able to make it back. So basically, if there's any storm cells that are small not showing up on radar, I'm not really going to worry about it. But I just checked. and there's nothing in the immediate area, even though the skies look like it's different than that. Drinking my liquids. See how much progress those guys made on all those trees that fell. Well, it looks like a lot of them have been chopped up. He's done a lot of work. He had a big bonfire last year. I got a feeling he's going to have a big one this summer. Killer dog. It's always those little ones. All right. Trump flag. All right. Hang a left up here. About another 1.5 miles or so. I'm in a race with the weather. I mean, you could see in the distance. I know one thing I'm getting sick of is all this stuff that's going on the internet with all this hate and anger and reverse racism. I think a lot of people are getting tired of it. Which was the other thing I was talking about, was the national decline in attendance to pride parades and pride activities. It's petering out because they're shoving it down people's throats, and I think people are finally waking up to it and realize that if you give them an inch, they're going to take advantage, and they keep pushing that. And they mercilessly go after your kids, and I think everything started to change when they went after the kids. And trust me, folks, it's on its way out. You got a lot of places like the UK and other European countries have stopped issuing puberty blockers. They've banned the usage of them. They've seen what it does. So, I mean, we have a white population that is not repopulating. When everybody is gay, questioning being gay, transitioning their kids so they're sterile, which kills their family lineage, while you have all these immigrants that come into Europe and they're doing what white people used to do in this country at the turn of the century, the last century, is the immigrants would come here and you'd have 8 or 9 children, sometimes 10, 11, because that was an investment in your family. They took care of the family when people got old. And also a lot of times you would have things like flu, or a child gets killed by accident, or, you know, it was important to have enough stock, okay? Sounds weird to say it that way, but now people are lucky if they have 1, maybe 2 kids. And these immigrants are having 8, 9, 10 kids. So simple math is going to tell you that, you know, white people pretty much might already be an endangered species, just through sheer math. Might not be enough time to reproduce enough. Now, that's not a white supremacy thing, that's just a scientific observation. And that's why you're seeing this systemic racism against white people. Call it what it is. Oh, I got fired today. It's because I'm black. This happened because I'm black. This happened because it's that white person's fault. These people promoting all this stuff, they're going to go to hell. I mean literally. I mean, they're promoting hate. I'm sure they're enjoying their paychecks for promoting the hate, but they're promoting hate. And the simple truth of the matter is most white people are not racist. But I think right now there's a higher percentage of minorities that are being racist as compared to white people. Not by sheer numbers, but by percentage. I think a large percentage of black people right now, if you run into them on the street, you're watching them walk towards you, when they make eye contact, you can pretty much bet they don't like you because you're white. Not all of them, I'm not saying that, but that's what's been implanted in them through victimization, which is a Marxist tactic, class division, all right, there we go. Had to change the battery. So what I was saying is those are examples of Marxism. Getting everybody to hate each other, not trusting the other person, not liking them for who they are. And it's unfortunate because I don't think that's going to be reversed anytime soon. So keep your head on a swivel in parking lots. And I'm not joking. Don't shrug it off as nothing. I mean, somebody will come up behind you and bash you in the head with something or stab you or whatever. Use situational awareness. Like right now, while I'm watching these cars go by. Oh, there's the chicken lady. The chicken coop lady's out there. She's got a tarp. She's got a cover. She's going to cover her garden. You know what that tells me? That tells me that there's a hail warning. Or she thinks there might be hail. And the skies do look pretty dark. Cover her garden. Well, pretty sure we're going to get some storms. And that's what I was saying. You can go for these walks with me, and you never know what you're going to see. Does make for a nice picture though. Looks like the worst of it's right there. All right, well, we'll persevere on. Pretty typical day in Maine and a lot of other parts of the country too in the summer. Chance for an afternoon thunderstorm. As long as we don't end up with a tree falling on anything like we've had in the past. That was not an enjoyable experience. Back to the house and have a nice righteous dinner after a shower. feeling a couple raindrops. Feeling a couple drops. I'm almost back. Got a little ways to go. Oh, here comes the rain. There it comes. I'm actually all sweaty right now, so this is going to feel good. There we have it. Well, anyways, looks like I did get caught in the rain. Got a little bit of sun out at the same time. So the skies are being funky. Little funky monkeys. Looks like we got a sun shower. Now the birds are going to be happy with this because I mowed the lawn the other day and I was hosing out the blades of the lawnmower and the water was running down the driveway, and the birds were drinking the water that was running. So it's been dry lately, and I think the birds need some water, but they couldn't have been that bad because pretty much 3 or 4 miles in all directions, there's so many sources of water for them, from lakes to whatever. So wow, look at that. That looks like dark, ominous skies. I hear some thunder. That is moving that way, moving away from me. So it's like we're right on the very edge of it. I'm getting rained on right now, but the sun's out and it actually feels nice because I'm sweaty. See, the wind's picking up a little bit. I'll be signing off up ahead anyways. But I wanted to thank you for coming today and walking with me. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed me seeing get wet. One of these days we'll be out here and maybe we'll catch a tornado. Hope not. Don't have many of those in Maine. Only a couple of those in the last 10 years. And they didn't happen here. They happened about 20 miles towards Oxford. We'll cut over to the left here because of the traffic. Traffic. Cut across this way. Ooh, I just saw a lightning. I just saw a lightning. Hopefully that showed up on one of the in-between frames on the video camera, or else you won't see it. It's like sometimes you'll see LED lights at night and they will be kind of flickering on the camera here. So judging by the time, I was approximately 1.5 miles to 2 miles away from the when I heard the thunder. Oh, saw another one over there. Hopefully that showed up. Well, it's about time to end this recording. I'm going to be back at the ranch soon. Stay safe, everybody. And yeah, that was a thunder boomer. So we got some lightning happening, even though the app said otherwise. So there you go. So anyways, I usually sign off around the corner here. That's what I'll do. Thank you very much for walking with me today. Hi guys. Hi fellas. So we'll head down this way. There we go. That's a good crack. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. Click like and subscribe. Share the content you want to share. And have a beautiful, beautiful week. And stay dry, everybody. We're going to have a wet one in Maine. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.